What's up, true crime nerds, and welcome to the Murder Hour, a true crime show where I know a little bit about a lot of crimes. So let's get to it. Hey friends, have you heard of the Blake and London Devon case? If not, buckle up because you are in for a wild ride. So the story follows these two adopted children, Blake and London Devon, and how they have been missing and haven't been seen or heard from for literal years, and were literally just announced to the public and their biological families that they were missing this year in March of 2024. So, in order to understand this case, I'm going to go through a little timeline here. And at the end of the video, we have a surprise guest interviewer that gives us wonderful insight into what living conditions were in the Devon household. So, let's just jump right into it. So, in 1996, Mariah Elizabeth Foster is born. Now, Mariah is London Devon, is known as London Devon now. That was what they changed her name to when she was adopted. In 2006, Trenton Dwayne Schuler is born. And now Trenton is Blake Devon. That is his adopted name, is Blake Devon. In 2007, the last known photo of London Devon was taken when she was about 12 years old, and this is according to the Fayetteville Police in North Carolina. In 2011, according to the Madison County Department of Social Services, Blake Devon was placed into Buncombe County foster care, and the reasoning is alleged domestic violence that was taking place in the household. And according to Blake's biological mother, that didn't happen. That's a lie. So take that as you will, but she is adamant that that did not happen. In January 2001, or excuse me, in January 2011, Avantae Emerald Deven filed a petition to adopt London. Now, this is according to court documents. And in speaking with London's biological mother, Sherry McClellan, she says that Avantae just kind of like came up to her one day and was like, "Hey, I want to adopt your kid," and she did. And again, reasons behind this were alleged domestic violence in the household, and there was a divorce involved. It was just a mess. So in March of 2011, Avantae's petition for London's adoption gets approved. In May 2011, a licensed private child placing agency placed Blake Devon into a foster home located in Buncombe County, again, according to the social service records. In 2012, the last known photo of Blake Devon was taken when he was about 6 years old, and this is according to Fayetteville Police. In 2013, court documents state that Avantae Deven filed a petition to adopt Blake. In July 2023, Avantae's petition was approved. And that, again, all of this is according to the records that can be found in the Madison County Department of Social Services. In 2015, the Devon family moves to Cumberland County, according to the Madison County Department of Social Services. So they're checking in with them. And then also in 2015, they moved to the Fayetteville area. So they move around a lot. Keep that in mind. In 2016, they moved to the home on Eichelberg Drive near Devlin Drive, according to police. The police say that the Devon family lived at this home until June of 2019. The family who currently lives at this home is not related to the investigation that is now happening into these missing children, and they're fully cooperating. In June 2019, the Devon family moved to a home on Berrydale Drive near Terbert Avenue, according to police. The police said that the Devon family still lived there as of Thursday, April 18th, 2024. In 2019, This marks the year that is the last time London Devon is reportedly seen in Fayetteville, according to police. The last known sighting of this child. In 2022, Blake is reported missing. And there's a 911 call that we'll be playing here shortly that is just mind-blowing to me. Like, what? So, Blake's reported missing, and on August 1st, 2022, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children database stated that Blake Deven had been missing since 2022. When Fayetteville Police Chief Kimberlyn Braden held a news press conference about the search for Blake Deven on April 5th, 2024, he stated that Deven was last possibly seen in 2022 at a Walmart when he would have been between 14 and 15 years old. Now, the Walmart part is important to remember because that area did not exist where she says that where Avantae later says that was the last place that Blake was seen. Now we're going to go to 2024. And there's a lot here, so try to bear with me. The 911 call happens here, so we're going to play this for you.
January 19th, 2024, 13 hours, 16 minutes, 59 seconds.
Fayetteville 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Drive.
All right, say the address one more time for me, please.
Berrydale Drive.
All righty, and what's the phone number you're calling from in case we get disconnected?
Sure.
Thank you, and what's your name? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, tell me exactly what happened.
No, I need to file this missing persons report.
All right.
So I was called to call 911.
All righty, yes, ma'am. And tell me exactly who's missing.
He'll be 18 May 10th.
So your 17-year-old son is missing?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty, and he's 17, is that correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, I need to get your son's. Okay, I need to get your son's description, starting with his race. Is he white, black, Asian, Hispanic?
Yes,
Indian?
he is white, Caucasian with blondish brown hair.
What was he last seen wearing?
Oh goodness, I don't even know, ma'am. He told me he was going to a Buddhist retreat and never called back.
When was that, ma'am?
A year ago.
So when he was 16, he told you he was going to a Buddhist?
No. I called a year ago. He was already 17. He just turned 17, I believe.
Okay. So you call it a year ago. When did this happen, ma'am?
I'm calling now.
I understand.
It happened. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I understand you're calling now. What I'm trying to determine is when he told you he was going on a Buddhist retreat and never came home.
It was a year ago.
So January 19th, 2023?
It was somewhere about a little before. We were on the holidays, so I'd say December. But it was between Thanksgiving and December.
So he was 16 at the time because his birthday's in May, correct?
Okay, yes.
Okay. All right. Give me just 1 second while I get this closer. What's his name? What's his last name, ma'am? What's his date of birth? And this is your son, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you think he is a runaway?
I think so, but he is generally religious, and he used to go back and forth about a Buddhist retreat and meditation, things like that. But this time he never called back. And my daughter did that once for 6 months, and she called, so I thought, okay. It's he's very independent, high-strung, and very bossy, so it's not very unlikely of his character. But Yeah, I'm sorry.
Delusional.
Now, what was your question? I'm very upset here.
Oh, I understand you're very upset. Do you think he's a runaway?
I would say so, yes.
Does he have any
It's hard to
physical,
tell.
medical, or mental conditions we need to be aware of?
Not really, no.
When you say not really, what do you mean?
He was diagnosed with static encephalopathy when he was younger, but that's it.
Alrighty. You said he was with encephalopathy?
Static encephalopathy, yes.
All right. And I'm just updating my dispatchers. Give me just 1 second.
That's fine.
This is crazy.
Alrighty, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, where was he at when he went missing? Was he at Berrydale address, or where was he located when he was missing?
I don't know where he called me from. I have no idea, to be honest with you, ma'am.
Okay, where was the last place he was seen?
Oh, goodness. I would say a restaurant.
What
I'm
restaurant?
just trying to think what's going on. One moment now. I'm trying to backtrack here. Oh, gosh. Oh, the neighborhood mart.
The neighborhood mart?
Yes.
Do you know where that's located at?
Yes, it's on Pamela, I believe. Pamela Ramsey. I don't even know
So
if it's open anymore.
the Walmart?
It's a neighborhood mart.
Right.
And I believe they closed it.
Okay. So they've closed where he was last seen. Okay, give me just a second.
Okay.
Alrighty, ma'am. And so the neighborhood mart was on what streets again?
I believe it's on Pamela and Ramsey. I'm not quite sure. It's on the corner over there across from a gas station. And prior to that, he was here.
Alrighty, ma'am. And are you at now?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I am.
When did you last see him?
When I told you during those holiday times, about a year and a half ago.
So what holiday times?
The last holiday, it was between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Around November,
2023 or 2022?
Oh, goodness gracious. Maybe 22.
Okay. Alrighty, ma'am. So I need you to make a list of his friends, including their addresses and phone numbers. And if he's located, call us back immediately. An officer will be dispatched to you as soon as possible. Call us back if anything changes, you have any further information, or your son returns. Do you have a good phone number for your son?
No, I don't. No, I don't have any phone number.
Okay. Do you have the number he called you from?
Oh, goodness, that was a long time ago. I don't have that number. No, I don't even have that phone.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Alrighty, ma'am. So I'll have officers out to you as soon as possible. Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's it for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You guys, that is literally the most insane 911 call I have ever heard. I've listened to it so many times and I can't even, I can't understand what she's talking about. How do you not know his phone number? How do you not know when he was missing? How do you not know if he has any friends? Like, excuse me, what? Moving on, because I could dissect that 911 call all day. Moving on. So we're going to go to March. On March 27th, 2024, the Fayetteville Police Department and the FBI searched 3 locations in Fayetteville in the investigation to find Blake Deven. Fayetteville Police Chief declined to provide specifics of the locations searched. On March 28, 2024, police issued a news release asking for the public's help to find Blake Deven, a 17-year-old boy, and included a photo of Blake that was taken around 2012 when he was in elementary school. With help from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, police also provided this age-progressed photo of Blake that you see right here. I don't know why it keeps zooming back out. Rude. All right, so let's go to April 4th. April 4th is when Fayetteville police officially announced that they are also looking for London Deven, who is now believed to be 27 years old. And they released the photo of London from 2007 when she was about 12 years old. So this is the last known photo out there of London. The FBI also added posters of London and Blake to its missing persons website. April 5th, Fayetteville Police Chief held a news conference urging the public to help them find Blake and London Deven. They specifically asked people to contact the police or FBI if they had any contact at all with these two missing children. During the April 5th news conference, he did not say if the police had identified anybody of interest in the cases. He also said that the FBI joined the search for Blake and London Deven, and he did not say whether Cumberland County Social Services were involved in the search. He said that the police had in fact executed search warrants that day at a home on Eichelberg Drive where Blake and London were known to have lived with Avantae. And he said, "I want to be clear that the family that lives at this home now is extremely cooperative with us and has no connection at all to this case. This is an unusual missing persons case." He said that the police department investigation did not start with the 911 call, calling it a complex investigation that will, quote, take time. He also said that the police and FBI could not publicly release certain information in the interest of finding Blake and London Deven. So they're not releasing everything that is known about this, obviously, at this time, because it's still an open investigation. All right, April 6th and April 8th. April 6th, according to Blake Deven's biological mother, he went into foster care, as I said earlier, because of abuse allegations. Felicia Chandler, his mom, only discovered that Blake was missing in February 2024 when the Fayetteville Police Department told her. Now, she said that the last time she had contact with him was in 2013. Blake's aunt, Miranda Miller, said that other family members hadn't seen Blake in 5 years and said that Blake's adoptive mother never enrolled him in school. As far as we know, this is a quote from the aunt, as far as we know, from the time she got them, she homeschooled them. On April 8th, FBI agents and Fayetteville police searched a home on Berrydale Drive, which is the current home of Avantae Deven, where she lived with all of the children, up until the point where the two of them were reported missing. The FBI executed a search warrant along with the home in Fayetteville, along with Fayetteville police and the forensics team. The search warrant is sealed, but sources close to the investigation said that they were looking for evidence in the home that may explain the disappearance of two people, so i.e. Blake and London. Law enforcement began the search around 8 a.m., and it was the second search of its property. Authorities were also at the home between April 5th and April 7th. And interesting enough, if you look up photos of this search, they were in hazmat suits. So usually when they're in hazmat suits, they're looking for biological material or biohazardous material. So take that as you will. The investigation during the search appeared to be focused on the garage and the interior of the home. The home belonged to the Deven family years earlier, police said, the other home on Eichelberg, and that the current family is not, again, they are being cooperative, but they have nothing to do with the case. April 9th and 10th, they spoke to an alleged neighbor who lived across the street, and he said that he last saw the children around 2018. And he said that the picture of London released by the police shows a younger child than the teenage girl he saw at the house. However, he thought that they were the same. Now, the special guest interviewer that we have at the end of this video says that that child that he saw was her. He said that the woman that he knew that cared for the children was Ava Maxwell, just one of Avantae Deven's aliases. And he said that all of a sudden, the children, the boys, just the boy, Blake, wasn't there anymore. And when asked, well, why isn't Blake here? She said that she returned him to the state, whatever that means. Now, people have gone to her home to talk to her, interviewers and everything have gone to this home where Avantae Deven still lives, and she refuses to answer. She refuses to have any contact. She refuses to put her lawyer in contact with anybody. It's just wild. She is holed up in her home. Okay, so April 12th, Fayetteville police announced that they found 2 partial skeletal remains, but they can't confirm what location they found the remains at, and they can't confirm who the remains belong to. Now, obviously, they've been sent to the coroners for examination, but it can take weeks to months, years, or even not to be able to identify these remains. So, they then come out with anybody who visited the Deven home at either their Eichelberg Drive residence or their current home on Berrydale Drive. They're urging anybody to contact them. Police specifically want to talk to anyone who delivered something, was trying to sell something, who bought something on Facebook Marketplace, what have you, repaired something, or saw anything at all, to call Fayetteville police. And the newest update is on April 26th was when that 911 call was released. According to the recording, she, as you heard, has no idea where Blake's at. And that is where we're at right now. We don't have any more updates in regards to Blake in London. However, it wasn't just Blake and London that were living in that home. There was Blake's younger biological brothers, who we're not going to name them because they're still minors. And then there was another child whose name was Cherish Deven, who her birth name is Bryanna Morrow, and from here on out we will be referring to her as Bryanna. And she is our special interview at the end of this video. And along with Bryanna, there was Leanne Maxwell, who is Avantae's mother. And you will hear Bryanna talking about Leanne, but a little update on Leanne. Leanne is an elderly woman who Avantae was in charge of caring for. Now, after this investigation started, Avantae has stopped caring for her mother, and she was placed into the hospital for, I do believe, a brain bleed, and Avantae stopped answering the phone calls from the hospital regarding her mother, essentially just leaving her there. And upon further investigation, they found out that Avantae was using her mother's Social Security and stealing from her mother's company to fund her lifestyle. And thankfully, a petition has been filed to seize all of Leanne's assets, so Avantae cannot take control of those. Now, Avantae, up until recently, had Blake's biological younger brothers in her care, and they have since been removed from her care pending investigation, which, thank goodness, they have been seen. They are alive and well. Now to get into this interview with Bryanna, I want to give you a little warning. It is hard to hear. Some of it is very hard to hear, but listen to her story. This is her words, what she experienced. This is her story. Take it as you will, but it provides shocking insight into what happened in that household.
Oh, excellent. Oh, hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? We were having some technical difficulties, but here we are.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, body. Oh, hopefully it does that.
So we're getting as many people in here as we can. We're sharing it out, but we are going to be talking about the Deven case.
Yes.
And we have a special guest. Cherish Deven. Is that what you still go by, or have you changed your name?
I am in the process of changing my name back to my name before Ava changed it.
All right, perfect. And what was that? What would you like us to
Bryanna.
call you?
Bryanna, please.
Bryanna. All right, amazing. So we are sharing this out, and then we're just going to have you kind of tell your story from start to finish. Whatever you feel comfortable with is totally acceptable. And then from there, we'll ask questions along the way, and then we'll also have questions from the chat, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Amazing. I'm going to make you, okay. I might shut my never mind. All right, so if you want to get started, just take it away.
Okay. So I was taken away from my mother, my biological mother, when I was 5 years old. Went in and out of group homes and foster homes, and then I finally met Ava at around 2007. I believe the official adoption date was 2008.
Okay.
Everything was fine for a while. I was going to public school, I was going to private school. And I guess she said that I had behavioral problems, so she had taken me out and started the homeschooling process.
Okay.
And that's where, I guess in 2007, they said that's when she started the homeschooling.
All right. So in 2007, she started homeschooling, and that was was London still there as well?
She was not. So, funny thing about that was she was working with London. She was actually a caretaker of her.
Okay.
And multiple other children. I don't remember the place that she worked at, but I remember I called her as Mariah because that's what I knew her by. So
Okay.
Mariah.
Okay.
I would call her by Mariah, but she would come over and she would, hang out with us and everything. She didn't come into the picture till way later on of the official adoption.
It was 2011, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. 2011, she kind of
So she would come. You said Ava was a caretaker before that?
Yes, she would work with multiple children, I guess special needs children. She also worked with cognitive, shall I say, children as well.
Okay.
But I think she was a therapeutic licensed person to do that. I know that she said that I was supposed to be going through therapy, so I think that's why she adopted me as well. I'm not really sure of her true intentions of adopting me, but so yeah.
Sorry, we're just taking notes and kind of going from there. All right. So you think that's kind of why she adopted you, was because she thought that you needed extra support?
I'm guessing so. She always told me as a child that she wanted to adopt me. But I needed more help as a child because I guess my ADD and all this stuff was, out of whack.
Okay. So did she actively seek out your family to be like, hey, we want to adopt her?
No.
No.
Not at all.
All right. So
in fact, many years later, she told me that my biological mother and my biological brother, she said my biological brother passed away due to suicide, and my biological mother passed away of a stroke, and my mother is going to be in the live soon.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So
wow.
How did she go through the process of adopting you then?
I believe I was being fostered with her for about a week, and all of a sudden she was just like, I'm really interested in adopting her. can we go ahead and put that in process? And I remember traveling all the way back to Marion because that's where I was adopted from.
Okay.
And I went to the courthouse and we had a adoption ceremony. She has all the pictures and everything of it. I never got them. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So foster situation, she adopted you and then told you that your bio mom was not alive anymore, and that is completely untrue.
Yes, I talk to my biological mother every day.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So were there any other children in the house like when she first adopted you?
No, she didn't adopt any of the children until 3 years later when we moved out to a country house. I cannot remember the address for the life of me, but I know it was in Madison County. And that's when Mariah came into the picture.
Okay. So she adopted Mariah after you guys had moved.
After we had the move, yes.
Interesting. Okay. And what did she say about was there a specific reason you were moving, or was it just, hey, we're moving kind of thing?
She never mentioned the fact that we were moving. She would just be like, oh, I found a better house for us with more space. I did find out when we moved to the 24 Slitter Branch house, the reason why we moved so quickly was because she owed a lot of money to them due to damages.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
which house did you say?
The 24 Slitter Branch in Asheville.
Okay.
But prior to that, I just wanted to say about my childhood, I was taken out of public schools, and she never really homeschooled me, but she would give me like multiple pages of paperwork.
Okay.
You know, she would have you like write sentences and paragraphs, and then those sentences would become paragraphs. So the more that you like had an attitude towards her, or the more you were defiant, imagine those paragraphs adding up to pages.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it wasn't necessarily a school, so it wasn't school. It was more of you were naughty, so you're going to write all of this information down about why you're naughty and how you're going to correct it. Excellent.
Yes. And if you didn't do those pages, like if you wouldn't finish them, you wouldn't be able to eat. So she would actually sit there and starve you.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
There were many times where I went almost a week without eating.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. That's
awful.
Yes. That is horrible. Horrible. So we have Chris up here as well. Chris, feel free to jump in and ask any questions that you would like. I've been meaning to reach out and be like, hey, you want to do a live, but you happen to pop in, which is great.
Good. I planned this few days, so I appreciate you letting me pop in here. Cherish, you had mentioned that your mom had that Avantae had not allowed you to eat for a week. Was that common in that household? Was it just for you?
It was very common in the household.
Okay. So that was a form.
The only ones that didn't get that punishment were the two littlest boys.
Okay. So the two
younger
boys,
boys,
which would be Blake's younger brothers.
Yes, Blake's younger siblings.
Okay. All right. So that was a comment. Were there any other like super strict well, that's not even punishment, that's abuse, but were there anything else along those lines that you feel comfortable talking about if it was there, or?
Yes. So sometimes I would get defiant because, I'm a teenager at this point, and I would refuse to do the paperwork. And so when I did that, it would result in me not having to eat. So I would steal food. And when I stole food, she would beat us with those thick curtain rods.
Oh, the metal one?
Yeah, she would. She would beat us with those. She would take a vacuum and beat us with it. There were many times she took me by my hair and just stomped on my chest several times. I remember getting thrown down a flight of 15 steps and it resulting in my arm being broken.
Oh wow.
I have
Yeah.
chill bumps. I'm so sorry.
Was anyone checking on you? Any of you kids in the household? Anyone with skills? Anyone with the homeschooling, Department of Administration with the state? Anyone check on you?
No one checked on us. After she adopted all of us, no one came back in and checked on us. She made her house look like as if it was, it was family oriented. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it was different behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? When people weren't around, it was all fake and smiles, and then go right back to your paperwork.
Okay. So no one came to check on you. How did she manage to work her way around that? Like, did no one just show up, or?
After the boys were adopted, no one showed up anymore. DSS left. We went about our, I guess they went about their way. And then it became we're leaving the Sluter Branch house after staying there for approximately, I believe, 5 years, if I'm correct. If I'm correct, don't quote me on that, but I believe we staying there 5 years.
Okay.
But then that's when, in 2015, we moved to Fayetteville.
Okay, back to Fayetteville.
Yes.
All right.
Total of 5 of you, right? It was you, there was London, Blake, and then his 2 biological brothers, correct?
Yes, there were 5 kids in total.
And they stopped. That just amazes me that they stopped checking after the last 2. So when they did their checks, while it was just the 3 of you, while it was just you, and they bought into this happy household thing.
Yes, they pretty much did. And if we lost, like if I lost any weight or if Mariah lost any weight, she would put us in very baggy clothes. The detectives actually have photograph evidence from when I had gotten sexually assaulted in 2000, I believe, 18, when we were here in Fayetteville. I was wearing a sweater in the middle of summer.
Oh my, wow. Okay.
And it was literally hanging off of me. So they have physical evidence of that, and my cheekbones showed.
So they have the evidence of that, but they still didn't do anything about it.
No.
That is insane.
So you were sexually assaulted. Was this, if I may ask, if you're comfortable answering this, was this in the household and the police knew about this?
It was when we moved to the Eichelberger house. That's when it happened. Yes.
Oh, and the police knew and did nothing.
We were going to an active investigation. It was being active, but because she told me that it was my fault that I had gotten sexually assaulted, that's when I took my stuff and I left.
Okay.
Because I had the opportunity to do that. There were many times that I did run away during the few years because I was done with the paperwork and I was done being starved. So I ran away when I was like 15. I slept in the back of the car. I would sleep outside under the bushes where she couldn't see me, and then, I would have to come back. So I was afraid to leave, honestly, if you want me to be honest here.
Right. Because if you got caught, the punishment would, I'm guessing, be worse than.
Yes. And then she would blame my mental issues on me. Like, she would say, for instance, if I was like 11 years old, I'm an 8-year-old in an 11-year-old's body. And that's not the case. I actually have my brain scan. I have everything. I'm not younger than my age.
That's just the isolation to me is astounding. Like, so someone in the comments asked if you had any friends. Did you have any, or were you just isolated to the household and that was it? Like, were you allowed to leave?
There were times I was isolated, and there were times where I wasn't because I was doing things for her.
Okay. So she would have you kind of do her errands and her bidding out in public. Okay.
Yes. And I would be the only one doing it with the 2 youngest children.
Interesting. Okay.
That's why when the neighbors reported that they only saw 3 kids.
Oh, so they only reported that there were 3 of you, not realizing that there were 2 others.
2 extra. Yes.
That's insane. So she did an excellent job of isolation.
Very much.
Okay.
I don't mean to harp on this point here, but when the sexual assault happened in 2018, how old were you at the time, Cherish?
I was 17.
You were 17. Okay.
Yes.
So when they came to do that investigation after your assault, did they see Blake or anyone else there, or was it just you?
They saw the 2 youngest kids because they also have them in photos as well.
All right.
With being around because of the body cams. But we were usually locked in a bathroom. It was very hard because of, we would start stealing and stuff, so we would have to be locked away. It was torture.
I am so sorry. Wow. I don't have words to even express how sorry I am that you went through this, and that I'm so thankful that you're coming forward and letting your story be out there. And it's so important that it is out there to bring a lot more eyes onto this case.
Light. Yes, light.
Well, and I know one of the you said she wanted to investigation was I know talking right now. You're speaking a little bit more about what went on in the home. What made you want to speak up a little bit more about this?
I just feel like as long as I'm not jeopardizing like details of everything, I feel like I can say my side. And then the rest will play out as detectives know. That's why I can't really go into specific details.
Okay.
But I can give y'all some of my past.
Which is that it is eye-opening to not only what happened to you, but the whole household in general. Because if it's happening to one, it is probably
happening to multiple.
Yes. So one of the questions is, how long would you be locked away for punishment?
So in the Sluter Branch house, there were multiple times I would be in there for a month, but she would throw us like bread and water. There were times where Leonie Maxwell would have to, and this is the time she was getting her blood clots and everything. Okay. She would walk up the 15 stairs to come feed us all and sneak us food.
Okay, so and that is Avante's mother, correct?
Yes.
And so at least, she had some sympathy. What was Avante's relationship with her mother? I know that there's been some speculation as to she was using her for things, and then she kind of left her in the hospital.
Okay, so I'm just getting the story of that now. So the mother and daughter relationship, I remember them calling each other by their name. Like she would say Nicole instead of mom, or Leonie would be Avantae. I don't know why they did that, because when you're younger, you're like, isn't that your mom?
Right, yep.
But sometimes they would argue. Sometimes, she would take us away from the beatings. And then Ava would produce into saying, oh, well, you're enabling her.
Okay. I wondered if that was kind of the direction of that relationship.
Yes.
So did things increase? Did the abuse in the house increase more as more children were added, with the exception of the last 2? You said that they were not included in that. But correct. With the addition of Mariah and Blake, were things different? Well, Trent, were things different?
Yes.
Or did it escalate?
I would say they definitely got worse. And it would worse every time you got older, because, you shouldn't be stealing, but you're hungry, so what choice do you have? Mm-hmm. I remember there was times where me and Mariah would steal dog food and cat food just to eat. And I know it sucks coming on here saying that, but
no.
The punishment we got for that was, oh my God.
I can't even imagine what, like, no. How many siblings? There were 5 adopted siblings in total. Do you mind telling us your relationship with Mariah and Trent?
So me and Mariah kind of got along. I knew that she was special needs, let's say that. She was born with fetal alcohol syndrome.
Okay.
So she wasn't mentally capable of living on her own like I am. So I would kind of leave her alone and let her do her own thing. But me and Blake and everybody else got along fine. I mean, we all got along.
Okay.
But surprise to me, when they were interviewing Ava about the investigation, she lied and said I never got along with any of those kids. And I have Felicia, I think she's on here, the birth mother of Trenton. She knew I was good around those kids. She was like, "You were amazing."
Mm-hmm. And if
so for her to even say that from an outsider's point of view,
mm-hmm. That is just wow.
So she said that during the investigation for Mariah and Trenton? That she said that you...
She said that about me, yes.
Wow, okay.
So did she play favorites at all? Was there one clearly favorited over the other, or?
I felt that way. I felt like she would favoritize the middle child.
Okay.
Because I guess she felt like he needed more hands-on. That's what she referred to her as, her little baby. That was her baby.
Okay. Sherry Mariah, London's mom never drank. I believe that was another Ava lie. Interesting.
She was not functionable. She was mentally not here.
Okay.
And that's what people really don't understand is she would defecate on herself.
Okay.
She didn't know how to shower. Ava would let her sit there in it and just give her a garbage bag to put on. So that she was a little bit special needs.
Okay. That's just... So there are some like speculation as to who is Avantae. Can you tell us a little bit about who she is as a like, to the best of your knowledge, who is she as a person?
To me, she's evil and cold-hearted. We did get along for some point of time. I would say about 3 years, from when I was like 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, everything just changed tremendously.
Was there like do you remember a significant point, like turning point, as to when that relationship changed?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, just kind of out of the blue just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's so have you seen her, and if you can't answer this, that is totally fine. Have you seen her since this kind of all broke out?
No, I have not. I actually have stopped all communication with her completely. I have blocked her on everything, including my Facebook, my cell phone. The only thing that I sent her, I believe, was March 28th, if I'm correct. I have it on my Gmail. But I texted her and I said, "How dare you say that I never got along with Blake when you know that's a complete lie?" And she told detectives that I threatened her. And I said, "Okay, what's threatening about this message?"
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So she's also a compulsive liar.
We've kind of gathered that through what we could find on her. Like, she seems to have came around in 1996. It's a weird, like, do you know her backstory at all? Can you?
I don't. And to answer her question, no, she did not she stopped taking me when I was 10.
Okay.
That's the last time I saw a doctor, when I was 10.
Wow.
I know the 2 youngest boys regularly had appointments because the middle child needed to be put on Intuitive.
Okay.
I think Blake was on Adderall. They did have doctor's appointments, but it was like not ongoing. You know what I'm saying? It would only for medication.
Wow. Okay. So just the bare minimum. Okay.
Yes.
That's a good question. What do you think her motive was through all of this?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Okay. I know that there's just, yeah.
So, if I can, because I just want to make sure I recap. You've already got about this because it's not lost on us that this is traumatic, especially some of the stuff we're asking you to relive. So I just want to bullet point some stuff that you've said, just make sure you have it straight. So you were adopted sometime in 2008. It was in Madison County where you lived a little while in Asheville. At some point along the line, there were a total of 5 of you that lived in the home, including you, London, Blake, and then his 2 biological brothers. You moved to Fayetteville at some point. You lived in a home that was there for a bit. You had mentioned that there were times where she would starve you and the other 2, with the exception of the little boys, if maybe, you weren't doing your schoolwork right, or if you were caught stealing food because you were hungry. That's what it sounded like there. And you would be beaten with a curtain rod. Is that correct? In time?
Yes.
You are saying very clearly you were abused while living under her household, correct?
Yes, I have multiple scars from her, yes.
And you're also saying that in 2018, you were sexually assaulted. Police did get involved, but it didn't really go anywhere, is what we're hearing, right?
I was going to court when I left her house because I stayed in Fayetteville for 6 months before I ended up leaving to go to Florida with my ex-husband. But I was going to go to court, but I was so afraid to because I knew I was going by myself. I just completely stopped going.
Okay.
So there was no support through it, just you.
Yes.
Okay.
And you said the only time you went to a doctor, last time you recall, at least when you were living there, was when you were 10 years old.
Yes.
And no one was checking on you kids when you're in the house. DSS, no one.
No.
It just sounds like it was just a failure of the system from start to finish.
It definitely was because my mother even said that.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Let's see. I know this is one of them that I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer as well, but leading up to actually the 911 call that we have heard that has been put out. What is this alleged Buddhist camp retreat? Is that just a figment of an elaborate lie?
That is a figment of her imagination. So when I was 13, actually when I was 12, I went to go visit my aunt, Amber, in Scottsdale, Arizona. I stayed up there for about almost a year because I was getting really defiant with Ava and she just couldn't take me anymore.
Okay.
So I guess she wanted to try a different lifestyle for me or something. Again, I was 12 years old and I was 89 pounds.
Wow.
By the time I came back, I was over 180 pounds. So imagine that difference.
Mm-hmm.
But there was never a Buddhist retreat that me and my aunt went to. We went to, oh my goodness, we went to Phoenix, Arizona. We went to San Diego, California. We would just go visit the Cove. I actually have a scrapbook of it that she still has.
Okay.
But it was never a Buddhist retreat. I mean, we would wake up and do yoga. We would drink chai tea. It was a whole different setting from Ava's house. Completely.
Okay. So when she said that London went to this Buddha, or was she referring to you, or was she referring to London?
She was referring to me.
Okay. All right. So she's referring to you and that you haven't you were there for 6 months and you contacted her within 6 months. She had actually sent you to live with somebody else
as a
Yes.
whatever she thought she was doing with that. Okay.
Yes. So she lied about that right there. Because I never went to a Buddhist retreat. I never stayed there for 6 months. Like I said, I stayed there for 8 months to almost a year and came back. And the only reason why I came back was because I was shit talking about Ava to her own sister. And she got mad.
Okay.
Because her own sister was like, what?
So she kind of like sent you back and was like, hey. Okay.
No, it wasn't that. It was because Ava couldn't take that I was talking about her behind her back.
Oh, so it was the control. Okay.
To her own sister.
This is when you were in Arizona, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And that call in general, just to kind of touch on that one more time too, give us your perspective when because you've heard the 911 call. I think you and I were messaging the other day about it. What sounded off about that call? In addition to the 911 call, because it says also my daughter's been messaging him off and on, but as you're just saying right now, no, like that's, that hadn't been happening.
No, she even said that she had gotten phone calls from him, and other things about that, but I can't really go into that. But if you listen to the police recording, you can hear her fuck up and say, was 17 or was 16.
Yes.
That's my main thing for me. He was? Or you mean he is?
Well,
and then she lied about the fact that he went to the Pamela and Morganton neighborhood market. The thing is that Walmart has been closed for 4 years, and even my fiance over here knows that.
Okay, so that
wouldn't have been open. Yes.
Wow. It seems like this woman cannot tell the truth to save her life.
No, she can't.
Know about when they changed their names, or can you answer that?
She would change all of our names after we got adopted. So as soon as it was like a week, it was already changed.
Okay.
Find that strange at all? You were how old when you were adopted?
I was 8.
For 8, and then your name just changed. You 8 years old, I would argue, is a reasonable amount of time for you to be self-aware of your identity at that point, and to have your name changed. What was that like for you?
She asked me if I wanted to change my name. I was kind of iffy about it, but me being young, I said I wanted to change my name to Pocahontas. That's just how I was, but she was like, no, we're going to go ahead and go with Cherish. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just didn't really pay any attention to it.
Okay, so that's very interesting that you being that age, she kind of did that similarly with everybody that, oh, no, now your name is this.
Yeah.
Can you there's a question in here about, at what point was Nicole also Leonie, and why did she change her names?
So when she was married, she was known as Nicole Adams.
Okay.
But her actual name is Leonie Aileen Beverly Maxwell.
Okay, that's very helpful. So with that, and is that the same with Avantae? Like, she changed her name too, from my understanding?
I'm hearing that from detectives. I don't really know a lot of information about that, but I hear that's not even her actual name.
That's kind of where I know that Chris has run into this, and so has my friend Stephanie down there, that anytime we look her up, there's so many different names associated with her that it's hard to tell who she really is and like when she came about.
Yes.
With there has been some speculation in some of the Facebook groups that Avantae is the daughter of Robert Adams, the spiritualist guy. Is there any credence to that? Have you heard that?
That is her father. That is her biological father. that would have made him my adopted grandfather. Now, I never met him. I hear he passed away before I was even born, apparently.
Okay.
But I know that's her dad.
That's her dad. Okay. That helps clear things up too. That way, there's just so many different rumors going around as to who she's related to, kind of what they were doing. With all of their addresses, do you have any idea about that? There's so many places associated with those names if you search them, and some of them are like storefronts. Do you know?
I've actually I don't know what that is about, and I'm just realizing this now that she bought all of the houses or rented them under LLCs. What was the purpose of that?
That was my next question of what was the purpose of the LLC?
I don't get it. Was she trying to hide from something? Because who needs an LLC to purchase a house?
Right. The only thing that, like, and this is just like my own opinion, my own speculation, was she would use the LLCs as a front. So she moves you guys and nobody came or that's a good thing. So she can't get sued as well, to hide her identity. But to prevent, like, she says that she's going to move. This is her shipping address, is storefront, which is a fake address. So follow-ups for DHS are going there. And then when it comes up that it's just a storefront, there's no more follow-up to it. If that makes sense.
Right.
Question, what did Ava do for work besides being your adopted mother?
I know that she worked with children when I met her, and then after she adopted Mariah, that kind of stopped.
Okay.
But I know that she was supposed to be Leonie's personal caregiver, so she would get paid by Absolutely Divine, and I'm throwing this out there. Absolutely Divine is on Owen Drive in Fayetteville, and that's where she would work for her, but she would never work for her. She would be on her computer all day and have the kids help her out. I would bathe her. I'm the one who changed her pail and stuff like that, etc.
Okay.
Did you think of the option to have Leonie removed from the household and the assets frozen when you saw those updates?
I was actually shocked because I had no idea she was doing that.
Wow, that she was having like petition to have her move out of the house.
Not even that she was stealing her own money, that she was stealing her own mother's money.
Yes, that was my understanding as well, was that she was stealing her mother's money, that her mom, that Leonie's was in the hospital with a anoxic brain injury, from my understanding.
Yes.
And she just kind of left her there.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened, because I know from the last time that we had talked before all this shit started popping off, that she was back placed in the home.
Okay.
And she was doing good. They had an overnight nurse there. And then I guess when DSS started getting involved or whatever, she went back to the hospital.
Okay.
And then I guess she wasn't returning the hospital's calls or anything. That's what I'm hearing from social media and stuff. The Cape Fear was trying to get in contact with her, and she was never answering at this point. So they were just like, is she going to come over here and take, she's legal aid for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has power of attorney of her.
So she was using her mother's money to live off of. Do you think that could have possibly been a motive for her after she adopted you and then adopted Mariah, that she was getting stipends from the state and that just became her job as her job?
I don't know if she ever got one for me or Mariah, but I do know that she got them for the boys.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So with this, because you mentioned before about how Leonie would come and bring you guys food when you were locked in that bathroom for a while back in the Asheville area to find out about what was going on with her. She's in the hospital. She's being, petition remover from the house, frozen assets. How does that hit you? Because it sounded like from what you've said, Leonie was looking out for you, but then here you have this happening for her.
It was very devastating to me because honestly, before I met my biological mother, that was my mother. That's who I considered my mom. She protected me. She fed me. Every time Ava took away my Christmas, she would take away Christmas. She would have a trinket box for me ready to open the next day sneakily behind her back.
Okay.
So that's who I considered my mom, and to hear she's back in the hospital again and I can't even get to go see her is really upsetting.
And you had mentioned that Ava told you that your biological brother, I think you said, had killed himself, and that your biological mom had died. But then, plot twist, your mom's very much alive. When did you find out that your biological mom was still alive? And
So the Facebook Live I had done, I think her name was Laura on there. She was the one who asked for the information. And I said, you know what, let me try it, because she could be lying about that as well. So I gave her the known name that I knew by my mother. And she found her within an hour.
Wow.
So I called the next day and I got her, which is now my stepdad's phone. And then she gave me her phone number.
That's
So
a
you
shocking
just
turn of events, but amazing.
You just found that you just connected with your mom.
Yes, instantly.
Wow.
She came over here to spend a couple days with me. And it was actually really bad timing because, Ava had made up lies about me and my fiance. She stated in paperwork, since she got the boys taken from her, that he was pretending to be Blake, which was never the case. And he straight up told her no. And she got mad and then lied and said that he physically pushed her down in the garage and resulting in her having to buy a sling for her arm because he broke it. So they came and took my child away.
Oh no.
They came and took my 9-month-old daughter away, all because of a liar. Let me make this one thing very clear. Jordan, on his past, he's seen his mom get beat up and he will never touch a woman. He actually beat up his stepdad for that. So I know as a fact that would never had happened. He would never push Ava down in that garage. Where's the proof? Where's your x-ray, honey? Bring it to court.
It's possible that, whether it's she's watching right now or she's watching it later, Avantae could view this at some point. If you could say something to her directly after what's all been happening, all that's been reported and stuff you've been saying tonight, what would you say to her directly?
It's a great question.
You need to face what you've done. Stop hiding.
That's a great question. It looks like we have Trenton's mom asking, when was the last time you saw him, if you are able to tell us?
I'm not really able to tell y'all. Unfortunately, I really can't. I really wish I could, but it would interfere with the case.
Okay. And that's as good as an answer as we can expect with an active investigation going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then my next question was going to be, can you tell us when the last time you saw London was? But that we can't answer either. So, she did homeschooling, you said. Was she registered, accredited to do her homeschooling?
Right. I have no idea. I know that we got every November our annual school tests.
Okay.
I remember being, I think 15, and I did like half the book because I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did the rest for me. How I got a college diploma, a high school diploma, I have no idea. I remember getting married to my ex-husband, and I got it shipped in the mail to me, and she was like, "There's your high school diploma." So that was a surprise to me because I had known nothing. I can tell you, I don't even know how to spell to this day. No multiplications, nothing. So I don't know how I got that, but I did get it. But she would never sit there and do it with you. And to be honest with you, the two youngest boys have a grade level of a kindergarten.
And how old are they now?
15 and 13.
Oh, wow. Okay.
15 and 14, I believe. No, 15 and 13.
So she said she was homeschooled. We aren't sure if it was registered, because with that, like, they have to.
Sorry, Deven Academy, I think is what it was called.
The Deven Academy.
Yes, it was Deven Academy, yes.
And there was no like check-ins with any of the school registration board or anything like that?
No, she would order the annual tests every November. We would get them early in October, and then we would do them in November, ship them out after December, so they would get there January. But no one ever checked on us for our schoolwork. I don't think she had to go to the school board or anything like that. I don't ever remember that.
Okay. I'm mind blown how the whole system seems to have just let this slip through the cracks.
Yes.
Just let this happen and didn't do anything about it.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure I'm using a specific word here. Right? Like you ship the test that you got once a year, but no one from the state Department of Administration physically came to the house to check on you in school, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Insane. I know that Felicia's asking some questions here. One of the ones, how did Ava treat the boys? I know you touched on that a little bit. The younger ones, she seemed to exclude from the abuse going on in the home.
Yes. She would refer to Devin her baby. Gabriel was just in his own world. He did his own thing. She was at one point close to Blake or Trent. I remember them taking pictures because the current picture of him with him smiling and he looks like fatter, that's when they were getting along.
Okay.
Did she have a boyfriend? No, she never had a boyfriend.
Was she ever married during this time that you guys were together, or that you were there in the household?
She actually got divorced, I think, a month before I came in the house. So she finalized that divorce before I came there.
Interesting. And they then proceeded to let this woman adopt 5 children, and she's single. How do you think that she was even able to adopt then? Was she just really good at portraying what she wasn't, or did she have people like vouch for her?
I am honestly not sure. I know that just because she said she had a psychology degree, I don't believe that with her damn rat's ass, sorry. But if you had a psychology degree, you wouldn't think about twice hurting children at all like that.
Right.
So I don't know if she actually has a psychology degree, but I know that she had a therapeutic license, and I think that was a plus for them.
Okay. That's super unfortunate that's the plus. So you're talking like there's more pictures out there and everything. What the public seems to have been given is that there was only like recent photos, as in like 2015, 2011. Are there more photos that the public just isn't aware of, or was she just, oh, hey, here's one as an update and that's it?
I believe so. Now, when I left in 2018, I didn't return until 2021, and I stayed there for 2 months and I left to go back to Florida.
Okay.
But you never saw any pictures hanging up in the house. I mean, I know she has tons of them on her laptop and her Apple iPad and all of this. She has them on there. It's just that she didn't take pictures of them all the time. I know that Devin and Gabe do, because they take her computer and they just use it.
Okay.
So I know that they have pictures up on there, but never would I see any of them.
Okay. So another question is, if you can answer this, was Trenton there when you came back from Florida? I know this is kind of touching into the investigation area, but was he there in 2001 or 2021? Sorry, excuse me.
I can't answer that.
That's kind of what I thought, but
Why Florida? Because I moved out back with my fiance because he needed 2 months to get his crap together. And that's when he was working on getting a car. So I stayed there. And plus unfortunately, I was addicted to drugs because of what I had gone through. And I was coming off of them and I was sobering up. So he sent me back there to get my medical crap done. And then I moved back to Florida.
okay.
So you said you looked to drugs after what was happening in the household, the trauma that you went through?
Yes.
Yeah, you were, like Bobby said in the comments, you were coping. There's no judgment on that. That is
At all.
Yes. What part of Florida? Oh, goodness. Longwood, Florida. I stayed out there, Longwood, and then New Smyrna.
Felicia's asking, did the boys know that they were adopted?
Trenton did, but the younger kids know.
Okay.
I do have to get going here because I have to work an early shift, but I just have one last question for you. For the people who hear the story later, whatever ends up coming from this entire investigation, what would you want people to know, just in general, about what you went through in that household and then how you are today, coming out on the other side of it?
That you can outgrow. I'm trying, hold on. Not every home you go to is a good place. A lot of children are adopted these days and don't go to very good homes. And there's a fake facade that's put on. And if it's the last thing I do before I pass away on this earth, I'm making sure that there's a law passed that if you adopt a kid, you at least have to go check on that kid for at least 1.5 years. And separate them and talk to them separately.
Yes. That would be an amazing law passed.
One is to check on the house to make sure that everyone is all squared away, even after the adoption.
Yes. Do multiple checkups, do random pop-ups if needed be, out of the blue. Separate the children separately so you can hear their sides of the story, so you can make sure that they're okay one by one. So it's not, because I know that Ava has taught them kids to lie for her. She has.
Mm-hmm.
And they're believing every word she says. They're going along with it because they don't know any better. She's training them to do this and she's manipulating them and they don't know that.
That's so unfortunate that the manipulation is so instilled in them. That just, Did the Buddhist retreat story come to play when you were taught that religion? So was she part of Robert Adams' religion, or did she not? Do you think that impacted how she treated you guys, or do you think that has nothing to do with it?
Honestly, I didn't really go for the religion. If I did anything, for myself, I would meditate, but she kind of kept forcing it on me. And that's one thing I don't like, is being forced upon. I don't like that. You know, I am the way I am. I am who I am. You can't change me to be that way. I know that she would play spiritual music all the time. In fact, when I was younger, I was really into it because, again, she was forcing me into it. So on one of my grandmother's, in one of her books, there's an album, and I'm on that album.
Okay.
But I never really practiced it, no.
That's it. It's interesting. That's so, I can't even begin to process like what you guys went through. Now that you had said that the boys were taken away, do you know like if the two younger ones, are they in a foster situation now, or do you know
I know that they're safe, and I know that they're being very taken care of. On my end, my daughter is in a foster home. I have no idea where she is. I get to see her for 2 hours every Tuesday, due to the lying that Ava has caused.
She just has no regard for anybody else's life but her own, it seems like.
Yes, and that's true. And I'm already going through enough as is. And I don't know if you've seen my like posts or anything on TikTok, but I am pregnant again. So being pregnant and going through all of this is very stressful.
Yeah. I can't even, I did see that, and that's a very bright thing that's happening in such really crappy times.
Yes, she did. She would leave the cats out there for 7 days. She said it would make their soul go away. It would, what's the thing she called for it? The soul stays in the body for 7 days, apparently, is what she said. So she would leave the cat and the dog there for 7 days. And once the 7 days were up, she would go throw them away.
What?
Yes.
That is wild. Whoa.
Yeah.
Felicia asked that. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so it's a dead cat and a dead dog after they died?
Yes, so after they passed away, she would leave them, the cats, she would leave on the bathroom counter in a box with a blanket for 7 days. Now, when our dog died, Boomer, the Chow Samoy, she left him in the garage for 7 days with a blanket, and then me and Mariah had to carry him all the way down to the dump. Yes, she did. She did have locks and cabinets on the fridge, yes.
Okay, so she did have locks and cabinets, making it almost impossible for you guys to get food when she was starving you.
Yes.
Felicia is asking, why did Ava want your boyfriend to impersonate Trenton to DSS?
If I could answer that, I could. I know the reason why, but I can't come out and say it because it will jeopardize the investigation. That's why they also told Jordan to go get a criminal offensive attorney. Because she was trying to get him in trouble. She even lied, which I have to pay for it here. She said that I took him and Navrone to the CAC, I believe, in Fayetteville. And that's not the case, because I had my friend with me that drove us there, and it was Mateo and Navrone. And we went there a day early, and I couldn't make it the next day to take them, so they gave permission for Ava to drive them. And I told the detectives to please put that on video camera and give me that tape, please, for court.
Okay.
Because she's a compulsive liar, and that's all she'll ever be good for.
That's just. Next question. I heard that she used to have. You got the older kids take out beatings on the younger kids. There's no real good way to pose that question. Did she use you guys for anything nefarious like that? If you're comfortable answering, if not, that is totally understandable.
I don't ever remember beating up the little ones at all. I do know that Devin got out of hand sometimes, so she would have me sit there and on the floor with him and restrain him because he would throw, fight, punch when he wasn't on his medication. But it wasn't hard. It wasn't nothing at all. And when he did pull my hair, when he did bite me, I just walked away.
Right.
But never would I ever intentionally hurt those kids, no.
Okay. And I mean, survival, you have to do what you have to do to survive. So
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
that's a little different. Yeah.
What
Michelle,
address did you live in Fayetteville again? Was that Berryville Drive or was that Eichelberger Drive?
That would be Eichelberger when I had to restrain him, yes.
so I've been holding off on this question, but it was asked down in here. What do you think happened to them? If you are comfortable telling us.
I wish I could answer that, but again, it would be interfering with the case. And if I do that, I'm jeopardizing everything.
And we absolutely do not want that to happen. We want you guys to get justice and it be swift and have this woman not be around any other child ever again.
No, and I don't even know why she's going to court every Wednesday to try and fight for those kids because she knows she's not going to get them back.
So she's going to court fighting for the other two kids every week?
Yeah, she's been going every Wednesday. When I started doing my court case, which I believe was on the 17th of last month, she was there. And I was shocked to see her there because I wasn't expecting it. But, you know, because the detectives, you know, just said keep your distance, you know, don't really talk to her. And that's what I did. So it was shocking to see her there, but why are you sitting there fighting for those kids when you know you're not going to get them back?
Right. Like, she probably honestly believes that she has done nothing wrong in this situation.
She made me the bad guy the entire time. She told detectives that I was the ringleader of this shit. Really? I was 17.
Another child. Wow.
Another child was the ringleader of whatever was going on in that household.
You're a grown adult. You're supposed to be the parent.
Right, exactly.
I have nothing. I'm not in charge of anything. I'm a child myself.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's disgusting.
As Terry Carpenter J said, no kids, no check. That is true.
Yes, and that's why they took her mother away as well.
I'll say she's not getting money from her now either.
Nope,
So
they froze all of her assets and everything.
Good. Good.
she probably is freaking out where she's gonna.
Felicia's asking, who is David Novick?
I hear that he's a family friend. I don't know him. I've never seen him. I've heard him on the phone with my grandmother. I think that's who's going to be taking custody of her, hopefully. If anything like that occurs. I hear he was a family friend. I know that they were supposed to go to Arizona and have him pick up all the stuff from storage, but I don't really know anything about that. I was too young to pay attention.
Does she have a support system like the church or family defending her?
I honestly, I know there's not a church defending her. I don't know if she has family because I know her sister passed away. I know my uncle's not going to fight for her because they never got along.
Okay.
I've never seen anyone sitting next to her at court or waiting with her out there. No, I don't know.
So she kind of had isolated herself in this.
Yes.
So going back to the 911 call, she said that she believed that Trenton had gone to this Buddhist retreat.
Mhm.
Could it be that she was like what she did with you, sent him to her sister, or was her sister still around and alive at that time?
She was passed away at that point.
Okay, so it wasn't okay.
Yeah, she was gone. I was actually pregnant with my son. I was 18 weeks when I found out she passed away. And I was in Mississippi.
Okay. I had a thought. We'll just continue with these until my thought comes back to me. Felicia's asking, does she have anyone possibly working on the inside that could have helped her adopt you?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that my mother knows my caseworker from like back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were working in cahoots or whatever. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I would have to ask her when I go down there, but I mean, I can't even say.
Okay. Okay, this was my question. Thank you, Starla, for bringing that back up. Why did her sister or Leonie, why didn't they report the abuse if they knew what was going on?
Honestly, I think Leonie was afraid, and I think that her sister, my aunt, thought I was lying about it and kind of fabricating,
Okay.
but I wasn't. Everything I said was true. Everything was facts. Like I said, I still have multiple scars from it and from her. You know, and I'm going to live with the trauma every single day that I'm alive.
Exactly. You have lasting, it's not just scars. What was done to you was psychological along with physical, and you will have lasting trauma from it.
Yes, I will.
And then do you think that Leonie didn't say anything because she was afraid that Ava would abuse her as well?
I'm guessing so. Honestly, I can't really say.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she tried to protect us the best that she could.
Okay.
I know she damn did her hardest.
Okay. That's good to know.
So it's not like Ava learned this behavior from her mother.
No, not at all. Definitely not.
Felicia is asking.
Yes, yeah.
You made it there. Okay.
We did. We all 5 came down here.
Perfect.
All 5 of us.
Why do you think she decided to report Trenton missing when she did? Was it just out of convenience, or were questions starting to be asked, or what? Why do you think it was then?
I will say questions were starting to being asked, and I can't answer anymore.
Yeah, no, that is perfectly fine. Neho, do you have any questions?
Not at this current moment.
You've been amazing.
Speechless. Like, it's way worse than I don't know. I just like, what?
Yes, it was called, goodness gracious, what did I say earlier? Absolutely Divine.
Yes, that's what I, yeah.
That is, as we start making more videos and sharing your story to as many people as we can, and we'll be posting this so other people can see it and sharing it to all of our platforms. What do you want? What's the most important takeaway that you want the public to know?
Don't be conceived. Just don't.
Okay.
Because she's a compulsive liar. She did hurt us.
Okay.
And it's time to go ahead and start doing it and start living the right way. You know, you did wrong, go ahead and face it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I can really say. If I had to say something to her, you want to apologize for all the trauma and hurt that you caused me, but words don't affect me anymore. You can't say sorry a million times to me and think me to get over that. I'm not going to get over it. Sorry isn't going to help that. I will never get over the trauma that you did to me and occurred, ever. And I can't just move past that. And for you to make me look like a bad guy in this case is stupid.
It's
The accountability needs to be had 1000%. Like,
yes,
she
unbelievable.
needs her day in court. She needs to stop hiding and own up to what she has done. I know that there's some more questions in here. Were you able to have any contact with anyone while you were in her household? You had touched on that you were able to leave, but were you able to like make phone calls to people? Did you have any other family members that, besides your, I mean, obviously she said that your brother wasn't alive, your mom wasn't alive, but any other family members that you were able to reach out to at all?
No. So, I never was given a phone. I was never, allowed around computers or anything. I guess she thought because I was going to say something or whatever. However, when the sexual assault happened, Leonie was in the hospital and I had gotten the guy's phone number, young old me. And I kept his number because I had a feeling that I was going to have to leave soon. And I snuck on the phone and I had called him over to invite him over just to hang outside while I was cleaning up outside. And Ava saw it and she started like yelling at me in front of everybody. And the dude was like, how are you going to sit there and tell her that she can't leave? She's 18. You don't control her anymore. She can leave whenever she wants. And I literally took the dress I had on and the clips that I had in my hair and left with that guy and he never came back. And that was the day that she told me it was my fault for getting faulty.
She's just a horrible human. Horrible.
And then when we were going through the questioning with that, the detectives even asked me why didn't I have a cell phone to contact her. And the next day she bought me a cell phone and had me put it right in my lap when they were questioning me. So that shows you right there she's hiding.
Of course.
Wow.
And I remember that very specifically. She was like, just say this is your phone.
Insane. Michelle's asking, do you have a support system now?
I kind of do and kind of don't. I actually just got some devastating news the other day. So I'm in now protective custody, and which made me be farther away from my job. So I lost my job due to missing one day and not having a ride. I'm now having to think about moving 3 hours away with my mother, but I have to make sure that my daughter goes with her aunt first, because that's what we're trying to fight for, is that she goes with Jordan's aunt, if anything. We don't want her in foster care. I've been through it. I don't want it to happen, the same thing that happened to me to her. So I'm
Of
making
course, that's your worst nightmare, I'm sure.
Why are you is the protective custody because of the situation with Ava?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure that's all you can answer in regards to that.
And also because we literally have nowhere else to go. So I wanted to make sure that I stay here and get her with her aunt before I even leave. But I have to make this between Monday and Tuesday, because if not, I can't go anywhere, and that means I'll be homeless out here.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry that that this is what has been going on and happening to you.
and that there was no one there for you.
Yeah.
Is this is the little sweet baby you had on your Facebook Live?
Yes, this was my daughter that I had on my live. Yes.
Yeah.
Ava knew exactly what she was doing when she did that. The ultimate punishment for you, she knew that would devastate you, and she did it.
And she knew that very much so. And that's why she said that. She also, there's a couple of other pages that she lied. If I can find that paperwork. Where's that paperwork at, Jordan? She lied and stated that we were over there on certain dates when we weren't even there. We were in a whole different town away. So how were we there at your house when we weren't? And this is when all this crap started happening. And this is when I stopped talking to her. So when you can prove to me that you can bring those next door cameras, because your next door has cameras, boo-boo, bring them to court and show me that I was there on that date and that time, because I wasn't.
Just, ugh. Ugh. Did she ever take any? I know you've answered this about yourself, but did she take any of you to the doctors at all, or was it besides the medication? That was the only thing that you had said was for medication for Devin, correct?
Yes, I know that they went to like dentists and things. Like they went to Rainbow Pediatrics out here. They actually switched to a lot of the Rainbow Pediatrics out here. It was like the doctor wasn't good, or this wasn't good, or Navarone doesn't get along with her, da, 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 da. It was always something, but I'm not sure where he goes now. Okay. Just because I've been out of state and everything, and I've left. But when I was living in the home, they were going to Rainbow Pediatrics. So the boys, the youngest boys, yes. I remember Blake sometimes. It wasn't all the time like the boys. The youngest ones.
Okay. So I'm sure you've seen the interview with the supposed neighbor. What do you think Ava meant by she sent him back to the state?
Honestly, I don't know if that's a lie or not, because the neighbor said that he saw Mariah standing outside smoking a cigarette 5 years ago. That was me, and I was 21.
Okay.
And that's when I came back for those 2 months and left.
Okay.
And that's when she had told me that, well, I can't even say it, that she's getting into the investigation. I would be blown up. But yeah, I don't know if that's true or not with the neighbors, because they've mistaken me for Mariah, I guess. And I'm definitely, I don't even look like her, but he said I looked like I was 17. I was 21. So.
Okay. Is there any like misinformation out there that you would like corrected?
I would, but if I did that, I would be jeopardizing the case. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I figured it's so hard when there's an active investigation going on, but getting your story is very eye-opening to everything else that was going on in the household.
Yes. I would also like to say, when we had to go to court for when we were living in Eichelberger, there were so many times I had to go to court to fight against our neighbors. At the time, they were abusing our dog, and she would poke sticks through the back of the thing, and she cut open his mouth. It's funny how she never wanted to go to court, but she had me go, which says something right there to me. And I never thought about that until I got older. Why have an 18-year-old go to court for you and fight for you over your dog?
That's so bizarre.
Why couldn't you stand up in court and fight?
That's so bizarre.
Yes, and I had to go in there like 5 times. Like, it was different court cases. Like, there was verbal altercation, and then it was a next door neighbor, and then it was the next door neighbor again. Like, why have a 17 and 18-year-old do that? I don't get that. I never did.
Because she knew
guilty.
she was hiding. Yep, she's guilty.
Yep, guilty
And
conscience.
if she sent kids to do it, then maybe there would be less repercussions, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Exactly.
I also think she was hiding too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, green-eyed girl, because she didn't want everybody to know who she really was, especially since she seems to have spent so much time building up this fake persona of who she is.
Yes. And you know what she wanted to tell me every time when I was younger? Whatever is in the darkness comes to light.
Well, it's her
I'm going to make that happen.
It's her time.
It's her time.
Can't wait.
It's her time.
Yep.
In this story, it just needs to be out there. And I Niho and I appreciate you being comfortable enough to come up here and share your story. And if there's other parts that you haven't gotten to and you want to share, by all means, tell us to stop talking and we will let you continue.
Yes.
The question that says right here, what kept you from reporting the abuse? I was afraid, to be honest with you. I can't really go into details about it because I would also be in jeopardizing the case, but just know that I was afraid and I was scared. I don't know anything about that. I just know that it was my aunt that I knew.
It's taken a lot of bravery for you to come up here, and it's amazing. And just know that you have us as a support system the best we can. If you ever need to talk about something, our DMs are open. If there's more that you want to add later on, or as more stuff comes out, and you're like, hey, I can actually now talk about this.
Yes, I most definitely will be. Once they wrap up this whole investigation and, you know, I can finally speak my whole entire piece, then I most definitely will.
Perfect. And we support you in that. And just know that none of us in here have judgment towards how you've coped with things, what you had to do to survive.
Give me 1 second. What lies in her book? Because I know that my grandmother would never lie. I'm sorry, but her entire life was actually the way she lived it. I had to put that out there.
Apparently it's hard to find the book. Interesting.
It's easy. It's on Amazon, and you can go get it off of Amazon. Married to the Western Mystic Robert Adams.
Interesting.
Yes. And I'm on the CD on there.
Might have to take a little deep dive into that.
Yes. I mean, definitely. You can get it on audio too.
Oh, even better. Even better.
Okay, because there were never lies about that book, so.
I have screenshots of the whole book. I'm curious as to what lie what in particular, Becca, you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yes.
Like Starla says, only sympathy for you. We want your story out there. So Leanna was living in the Cayman Islands and never has a daughter listed as Ava. Ava has changed her name.
Ava has multiple names, unfortunately, Becca, so don't blame that on Leonie. My grandmother was born in the Cayman Islands. That is true, and that is her daughter. I don't know what her real name is, and no one knows what her real name is. We just know her by Ava and whatever she tells everybody.
It seems in the investigation that Niho and I have done that Avantae, the name Avantae came around in the mid to late 90s. And that is the only, before that, as you said, nobody really knows what her real name is.
I only called her Ava when I was mad.
So I wouldn't call her by that if I, like, because I thought she was my mother, I would call her mom, but I would call her Ava when I was mad. So that's how I know her as Ava, but I don't know what her real name is. And I think I might have a hunch, but I don't know.
Right. It's one of those that you might know, but we don't want to like spread out any misinformation from it and
Correct.
falsely get the wrong name out there.
Yeah. No, Ava, I don't think she's Jamaican. I think she has it in her, but like she's not full Jamaican like Leonie is. Leonie's 100% Jamaican.
Okay. I thought so, that she's Jamaican. Is that not true? I just feel like there's so much about this family that isn't true that you just don't know anymore.
Yeah, there's some things that I don't know. There are things that I do know. I do know that she's 100% Jamaican. I know that Ava is mixed with, I don't know, who knows, psychotic, I guess.
Yeah.
But her nationality, I have no idea. But she was born in the Cayman Islands, yes. She actually sold her property before I left.
Okay. What did Leonie say about the actions, or did she?
I just remember her taking us away and, protecting us. I do remember them one time getting in an argument where it almost turned physical, because she was stomping on my chest and Leonie came over and swooped me up and she was like, Avantae, you can't do that. So.
Why do you think Ava was so determined to move to Fayetteville? Like, why there?
I don't know why well, actually, because of all the DSS people were out there in Asheville, and everywhere she went, it was like she was bumping into them. I remember her specifically saying that, and she just didn't want to be out there anymore, so she wouldn't have to bump into them and all this.
Right.
So I think that was one major reason why we moved. And the reason why she left so quickly was because she owed 68 grand on that house in damage.
Shit.
Yeah.
And damage.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
damage from. Can you say damage from what?
That would be jeopardizing the case.
Okay. There's just so many questions I want to ask, but I know that they're all, like, I want to know all of the answers to why, but unfortunately, a lot of them you can't answer until later on. But what you have, the information you have provided has been very eye-opening. Very.
I hope so, because, she wants to go over there and, put a fake facade on and act like she's innocent and that I was a trouble child, and I might have been a trouble child because I was starving, but
yeah,
I did what I had to do. I couldn't just sit there and starve.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no.
So I did what I had to do to survive.
Yeah, are there any pictures of Ava? Did you hear me? Sorry.
Maybe? I don't know.
I was like, you can't hear me though? Okay. My mic messes up, so I was just like, sure.
I heard you. But I know things are with TikTok are just really weird lately.
Yeah, even if you're a trouble child, there's a reason for that. Yeah, like I can't imagine.
I'm guessing that we had a little malfunction.
Ugh.
Technical difficulties. But yeah, even if you're a troubled child, there's no excuse for that. No reason. And the lies that she told, I can't even imagine. Oh, where'd she go? I heard her.
I heard her, but I didn't see her.
What?
What in the world?
That was creepy, guys. There she is. She's coming back.
I'm just. Which house was it? Oh, that had the $68,000 in damage.
The one prior to Fayetteville.
I am so sorry. My phone is doing something weird.
And then you had dropped out and we could still hear you talking.
Yeah. Crazy.
My phone is like needing more space or something, so it stops my entire phone to clear it.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Don't like that. When she sold her
And I
house,
hate the Medicaid phones.
when she sold her house, was it under an LLC again?
The what house?
When they just asked when she sold her house, what was it the name under?
Nelson and Johnson, I believe, or
Okay,
was that the
LLC.
homeschooling? I
Yeah, that
believe
was
it was
the LLC.
Yeah.
Nelson and Johnson was, yeah. That's what I was asking. Are there any pictures of Ava?
I don't have any, but there are plenty in that house. They're, like I said, they're on her laptop. They're on my grandmother's dresser of her. I tried looking online for a picture so I could just throw it out there, but there's literally none.
None. Niho and I have spent hours trying to find a picture of this woman. And for a little bit, I was beginning to believe she wasn't even real. Like, it was just a complete fake name. She wasn't a real person. I don't know.
I hear that's not even her name and her identity. That's not her identity either. So, did she ever have social media? No, she never had social media. In fact, when she found out that I had social media, she freaked out.
She did. Because the possibility of your story going public is not what she wants.
Exposed to people who can know about.
She actually had me deactivate it when DSS started getting involved for. This all originated because Deven had hit Mateo in the head with a metal pipe. This is how the investigation all started.
Oh, wow.
And then he went to the hospital and said that Ava had broken his arm, which I don't know about that.
Okay.
Gabe.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Felicia's asking who a few names of people are, but continue with what you're saying. Sorry.
I think her name is Michelle, if I'm correct. I don't know. I thought I saw a birth certificate with the name Michelle on it when I was like 7 or 8, but I cannot remember for the life of me. That's just a haze of a memory. But that's how this whole thing got started because they wanted to speak to all 3 boys.
Okay. And then that's when she was like, oh, well, Trenton is.
He's at a Buddhist retreat.
He's at the Buddhist retreat that doesn't exist. Excellent. Something happened in the house in Madison County, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say this. There were many times where I didn't do my paperwork when I was little. And when we moved out to the Madison house, she had me stand out in the snow and do it naked with my underwear on. And she would throw water on me to the point where it got my hair into popsicles. So.
Wow.
I'm so sorry for that, by the way.
No, you're okay. You're okay. So no one went to the Buddhist retreat. She said exactly. So Mia, we did discuss that a little bit earlier. The Buddhist retreat was not a thing.
I don't think it ever was a thing. I can't really say because that would be jeopardizing the investigation.
Right. But when you were at the supposed Buddhist retreat, it was not a Buddhist retreat.
No. When I went to my grandmother's, not my grandmother's, my aunt's, and we went to New Smyrna, not New Smyrna, but we went to, what's the place called? Dang it.
You want to hold it to the live phone? I mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm on the phone.
I know, I'm saying I don't mean to interrupt you. I went out tonight.
I'm good.
To look at some lollipop.
No, I'm good. But we went out to California and we went out to Phoenix, Arizona. But there was never a Buddhist retreat, ever.
Where did y'all first move to when you first went to Fayetteville?
We moved to the Larkspur house, and that was the very first house. And we literally stayed there for about 6 months and then left. And I don't know the reason why for that either.
How old were you when when Avantae like started caring for you? Because you said you were adopted when you were 8, but how old were you when she got your like custody of you? Was it then or?
I was 7.5 when I first met her, and that was in Asheville at the mall. Now, when I was adopted, I was 8 years old. I had turned 8.
So she just came up to you at the mall?
No, my social workers brought me down there and had me have a visitation with her. And a week later, I remember getting a phone call from Ava stating that she wanted to adopt me, and I was in the group home at the point. And so I was excited about that. And I think a couple weeks later, we did the transitioning. We packed all my stuff, and I moved.
Okay.
From Shelby. I was in Shelby, North Carolina.
Okay. Who helped you make all of these moves? Was it just you guys or?
So the first couple of moves, I remember, when we moved from the 61 Maple Ridge house, the house I was adopted in, I remember she hired these drunks to pack up all the stuff.
Good.
And ended up getting into an argument with them because they slammed Leonie's foot in the door, and this is when she started getting blood clots and stuff. And I was 8 and I was in a black, I'm not being racist here, but I was at that point talking like a black girl.
Okay.
So I said, I went off on the lady, and the lady tried to physically punch me, and we had to call the cops, and then we ended up packing everything and finding someone else to load up and move.
Okay.
And then when we moved from the 24 Slitter Branch house, she hired a big moving company. They took 2 Mack trucks to move all that stuff.
Okay. Wow. She just seems, ugh. I want all of the answers and I want them now, selfishly.
I know.
I'm sure that there's a lot more questions that people in the chats have. So we can answer a few more and then maybe hop off if that's okay. And we can always do another live later on.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Of course. We can always do a part 2 or whatever. I'm cool with that.
Definitely. And that way we can have a little bit more than an hour to throw things together and
Yes.
get a bunch more questions written down. But is there a paper trail with name?
Not that I'm aware of. Apparently, from what I'm finding out, that there was always an LLC that she bought the homes with. Now, when she bought the Berrydale house, I thought she bought it with full cash. And I guess that wasn't the case. She used an LLC, but she told me all the time that she bought this house with the cash. Now, may I mention, the day I left was the day that they were packing to move the next day. So I left during the time that they were moving. So I never even got to be in that house except for in 2021.
Okay, for the
And where would all this cash have came from?
I had no idea.
Huh.
her imagination.
Yes.
Apparently.
Like everything else.
She was saying how she had commission from like her other jobs and savings and stuff from working at Bloomingdale's and being a makeup artist. Now I don't know if any of this is true or not. I really don't know, but that's what she said.
Makeup artist at Bloomingdale's and commission from her other jobs. Okay. She got it from the Infinity Institute. That is a possibility.
She probably got it from the Infinity Institute. I know that was Leonie's company. And then Amber kind of took that over, which is my aunt. And they have a lawsuit about that because they ended up stealing it from my grandmother, which was her own daughter, ended up stealing it, so they had to go fight for that, and it was a whole big ordeal. But I don't really remember all of it. I know that Amber had adopted 2 twins when I left from her house, but did I ever meet them? No.
Okay. Where was the lawsuit over the Infinity Institute?
I believe it was in the state of New Mexico.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thought. Did Amber act the same as Ava, or was
No.
she? Okay,
They were complete night and day. So I was surprised about this because before DSS started getting involved, my daughter was 3 months old, and I went to go bring her over to show her to Leonie because she never got to meet my son. So I wanted to make sure she saw my daughter before anything ever happened or she passed away. And when I walked in that house, there were roaches everywhere, and the house reeked of cat pee, and it was not livable. It was nothing like how she used to live. No, but she was a hoarder sometimes. But it was never like how it was in the Berrydale house. It was bad.
she just so there. I remember questions from earlier. Did she? They were only like 3-bedroom homes. Did she make you guys share a bedroom? How was the living situation?
So, when we got to the Eichelberger house, we all shared a bathroom. That's where we stayed. When we lived in the 24 Sluter Branch house, I did have my own room at first, but because I was stealing and I guess defying her, it went to a closet space downstairs in the basement and back to a bathroom and then upstairs in the loft. So it would switch.
Okay. Based on your quote unquote bad behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
It got so bad that I actually broke the doors from the bottom. I split them in half.
Ugh.
Did I have to clean for her? Yes. When DSS was involved with the boys, when they were first getting into the home and DSS was coming over at least every other week, we would stay up to like 4 o'clock in the morning cleaning that house, the 24 house. Mm-hmm.
This is just insane. We can do a couple more questions and then we will definitely have a part 2. So let's see. There's just so much stuff and I need like a day to process and then come back.
And let me also say this. If you had a question of, oh, did she ever let you out to go to the bathroom? No. She would have us peeing and poop in a pail and cover it with a lid, and then we would have to go dump it when it got full. So we never got to go out because anytime we were out, we would steal or we would look for something to steal. I remember one time that me and London stole a whole bunch of cat food, and she made us eat cat shit. Yeah, and I was like 12 at the time.
This woman is vile.
So I just wanted to make that very clear, because I had a lot of people ask me that question. Did she ever let you out to go to the bathroom or, no. And the only time we did take showers was when we were all going out shopping and she had to make sure that we were all clean and not smelling.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Was Amber's last name Deven?
No, I believe that she got married to David White, so it was changed to Amber White.
Okay.
I called her Shari because that's what she wanted me to refer her by.
Okay. I am so sorry what you went through, but I am also so glad that you are able to talk about it and share your story because it is so important. And all of us are here for you.
and want to get this out there so you and your families can get the justice that you deserve. And this will make you just never be around children ever again.
Yes. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to make sure of that, because ever since I was with her, she made my life a living hell. I never had a normal childhood. I never, I never went on play dates. I never had any friends to go hang out with. I never went to prom. I never went to anything like that. So I don't know what it is to be a normal child. I lived how I lived because of her.
You didn't know anything else. No one taught you those things. I don't have great
social skills. I'm horrible at social skills, and everyone's like, it's crazy, but every time I go into somebody's house, I ask to open the fridge, and they're like, why are you asking me to open the fridge or ask to go to the bathroom? You shouldn't have to ask to go to a bathroom. And that shows you, to this day, I'm still doing that. And I've lived on my own since I was like 18. So that shows you right there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, we all hope that you get to live the life that you want and that you get to flourish and not. You seem to be doing really well, and you're not letting it define you. You are working on moving past it and sharing your story, and we all hope that by doing so, it helps heal you as well.
Absolutely.
I'm trying. It's just very, very hard, especially when you've got people out here that are enemies, because I do have a couple of enemies that have gone to the cops. I did confide into somebody who I thought was my friend, and she's now going and saying that I was in cahoots with Ava the entire time, and I wasn't. I made it very clear. And that day that I told that person that, first off, I was struggling with drugs and I was horribly messed up. And I was emotional. And that night I tried committing suicide. So I tried to tell her how I felt, thinking I'm confiding into a friend. And all these years later, she's going out here saying all these lies about me. May I mention, when I moved into the trailer that we have, I had to kick her out of my house because she had brought 20 ounces of methamphetamines and a registered sex offender over when I had my daughter. And I told her, absolutely not. You have 3 days to go. So ever since I did that, she's been on my bad side. And that's why she's making me look like the bad guy.
Wow.
So I have a lot of people that are, and that's why the detectives want me to leave as well. They're advising me to. They were just like, look, you got dealt a bad hand, kid, and you need to learn what life is. You need to live a normal life.
Yep.
And you haven't been able to do that.
Yep.
Definitely.
So I think that's the main reason why.
And yeah, no one will ever believe that you tried to willingly do things with Ava.
No.
And if they do, then they are horrible people too.
Yeah, so it says more about them than it does anything else.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming up. If you're interested in doing a part 2, we will definitely do a part 2, 3, 4, however many parts you want.
Yep.
And continue to share your story. And then we can have more guests up here that have questions or have more questions that we didn't answer. We have a few other people who weren't able to join us tonight because they had prior engagements, but
Yes.
And if we do it on YouTube too, we can show things more and more people.
Yes.
Yeah. So that would.
Yes, you did great. I greatly appreciate this. We will all share this. We will be reposting the live on our YouTube channel, which is Toxic True Crime. And slowly we'll be transitioning all of our lives over there. So that way we can, have, as Niho said, more freedom.
Right.
And then, get it out there to a lot more people, which is our goal, is to share.
My inbox is always open. Even if you just need somebody to talk to about anything.
Thank you.
I can't imagine what you've gone through, and
appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for getting up here and telling us everything. Sorry you had to relive that again.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I know I'm gonna have to say it over again if I go and testify against her, which I know I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking forward for that day, but I am. So there's that.
Yes. It's just, yeah, it's good that you are feeling comfortable, and that's what's important. Getting you comfortable and having you be comfortable with it.
Yes, I agree.
And as Niho said, my inbox, both of our inboxes are always open, even if you just need someone to talk to. Felicia is there and says that you can always reach out to her too.
I understand addiction and everything like that too. So, and I don't judge. So, if you ever need somebody just to talk to.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for coming up, and thank you guys for joining us. We will be reposting it on our YouTube, Toxic True Crime, and we'll be breaking it up into clips on here and reposting the live on our channels as well on here.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. Bye guys.